Start with Why. Inspiring Leadership and the Power of Purpose by Simon Sinek. Start with Why by Simon Sinek is a transformative exploration of what makes great leaders and organizations successful. Sinek's central premise is that the most inspiring leaders and the most innovative organizations start with a clear sense of why. A purpose, cause, or belief that drives everything they do. By understanding and communicating this core purpose, they can inspire loyalty, innovation, and sustained success. Introduction: The Golden Circle. Simon Sinek introduces the concept of the Golden Circle as a way to understand why some leaders and organizations are more influential and successful than others. The Golden Circle is made up of 3 concentric circles. The why. The innermost circle represents why. The purpose, cause, or belief that drives the organization. It answers the question, why do we exist? The how. The middle circle represents how. The process or values that enable the organization to bring its purpose to life. It answers the question, how do we do what we do? The what. The outermost circle represents what. The products, services, or outcomes that the organization creates. It answers the question, what do we do? Sinek argues that while most organizations can clearly articulate what they do and how they do it, very few can articulate why they do it. Yet, it's the why that truly inspires people, creates loyalty, and drives lasting success. The importance of starting with why. The power of purpose. Sinek emphasizes that starting with why is not just a marketing tactic. It's a fundamental principle that underpins the success of the most influential leaders and organizations throughout history. He points to examples like Apple, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Wright brothers, all of whom started with a clear sense of purpose that inspired others to follow them. For instance, Apple's why is to challenge the status quo and think differently. This purpose drives everything they do, from product design to customer experience, and has fostered an incredibly loyal customer base. Similarly, Martin Luther King Jr.'s why was his belief in equality and justice, which inspired a movement that changed the course of history. Sinek explains that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. When organizations start with why, they create a deep emotional connection with their customers, employees, and partners, which leads to greater trust, loyalty, and long-term success. The biological basis for why. Sinek delves into the science behind the Golden Circle, explaining that our brains are wired to respond to why on a deeper level than what or how. The limbic brain, which controls our emotions and decision-making, is where our why resonates. It's not driven by logic or facts, but by feelings and intuition. This is why decisions made based on why feel more authentic and compelling. When a leader or organization communicates their why, it taps into the limbic brain, creating a sense of trust and loyalty that is not easily shaken. On the other hand, the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and language, processes the what and how. While these are important for understanding details and making informed choices, they don't inspire action in the same way that why does. This explains why organizations that focus solely on what they do often struggle to inspire and maintain loyalty. The role of leadership in starting with why. Inspiring leadership. Sinek argues that great leaders are those who can clearly communicate their why and inspire others to join them in their cause. Leadership is not about having authority or power. It's about inspiring others to believe in a shared purpose. He uses the example of Martin Luther King Jr., who didn't just articulate what needed to change in America. He inspired people with his vision of why it needed to change. His famous "I Have a Dream" speech was powerful because it was rooted in a deep belief in equality and justice. King's why was so compelling that it rallied millions of people to join the civil rights movement. In contrast, Leaders who focus only on what or how often fail to inspire. They may achieve short-term success, but without a clear why, their impact is limited, and their organizations may struggle to sustain long-term loyalty and growth. The role of trust. Trust is a crucial component of successful leadership and is built when leaders consistently communicate and act on their why. Sinek explains that when leaders start with why, they create an environment where people feel safe, valued, and motivated to contribute to a shared purpose. He points out that trust is earned over time through consistency. When leaders and organizations repeatedly align their actions with their why, they build credibility and foster a deep sense of trust. This trust is essential for creating loyal followers, whether they are employees, customers, or partners. The impact of starting with why on organizations. The law of diffusion of innovation. Sinek introduces the law of diffusion of innovation, a model that explains how new ideas and products spread through a population. The law is divided into 5 segments. 1. Innovators. The first 2.5% of the population to adopt an innovation. 2. Early adopters. The next 13.5% who are willing to try new ideas. 3. Early majority. The following 34% who are more cautious but eventually adopt the innovation. 4. Late majority. The next 34% who adopt the innovation after seeing it widely accepted. 5. Laggards. The final 16% who are resistant to change and adopt only when necessary. Sinek argues that organizations that start with why are more likely to appeal to innovators and early adopters who are motivated by belief and vision rather than practicality. These early adopters are critical because they help spread the idea to the early majority and beyond. Once the early majority embraces an innovation, it reaches a tipping point and gains widespread acceptance. By starting with why, organizations can create a powerful movement that drives innovation and growth, as early adopters are drawn to the purpose behind the product or idea, rather than just its features, creating a culture of why. Sinek emphasizes that starting with why is not just about marketing. It's about creating a culture where the why is deeply ingrained in every aspect of the organization. This culture starts at the top, with leaders who embody the organization's purpose and values. When the why is clear, it guides decision-making at every level of the organization. Employees understand not just what they are doing, but why they are doing it, which increases engagement, motivation, and creativity. A strong why can also attract like-minded individuals who share the organization's values, creating a team that is aligned and passionate about the work they do. In organizations where the why is unclear or inconsistent, employees may feel disconnected, and customers may struggle to understand what makes the organization different. By contrast, organizations with a strong sense of why create a powerful brand that resonates with people on a deeper level. Case studies, successes and failures of why. Case 1. Apple, a case study of starting with why. One of the most compelling examples Sinek uses is Apple. Apple's success is not just due to innovative products, but because they have always started with why. Apple's why, challenging the status quo and thinking differently, drives everything they do. This why resonates deeply with customers who identify with these values. Apple's marketing consistently communicates this why, making their products more than just gadgets. They are symbols of creativity, individuality, and innovation. This strong sense of purpose has built a loyal customer base that goes beyond product features, creating an emotional connection that drives long-term success. Case 2. Failure to start with why, TiVo. In contrast, Sinek discusses the case of TiVo, a company that had an innovative product but struggled to achieve widespread success. TiVo's failure, according to Sinek, was not due to the product itself, but because they failed to clearly communicate their why. Instead of inspiring people with a vision of how TiVo could change the way they consumed media, the company focused on what their product did, leaving potential customers unsure of why they needed it. TiVo's story illustrates the dangers of focusing too much on the what without a compelling why. Without a clear purpose, even the most innovative products can struggle to gain traction and create lasting impact. Applying the golden circle to your life and work. Finding your why. Sinek encourages individuals and organizations to take the time to discover their own why. This process involves deep introspection and an honest assessment of what truly drives you. Your why is not about making money or achieving fame. It's about identifying the core belief that motivates you to get out of bed in the morning. Once you've identified your why, the next step is to align your actions, decisions, and communication with it. This alignment creates authenticity and trust, both within yourself and with others. Whether you're leading a team, starting a business, or simply trying to live a more meaningful life, starting with why provides a powerful foundation for everything you do. Communicating your why. Sinek emphasizes that it's not enough to know your why. You must also be able to communicate it effectively. This involves crafting a message that clearly articulates your purpose and resonates with others on an emotional level. Effective communication of your why requires consistency and clarity. Whether you're speaking to employees, customers, or the public, your message should always reflect your core beliefs. This consistent communication builds trust and loyalty, making people more likely to support your vision and join your cause. Conclusion: the power of why. In Start with Why, Simon Sinek challenges us to rethink how we approach leadership, business, and life. By starting with why, we tap into a powerful source of inspiration and motivation that drives long-term success. The most influential leaders and organizations don't just focus on what they do. They inspire others by communicating a clear and compelling why. In today's world, where trust and loyalty are more valuable than ever, starting with why is not just a strategy, it's a way of life. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a manager, or simply someone looking to make a difference, understanding and living your why can help you create a lasting impact and lead a more fulfilling life. Start with Why is more than just a book. It's a movement that encourages us to find our purpose and to inspire others by sharing it. By embracing the principles of the Golden Circle and starting with why, you can lead with purpose, inspire change, and create a future filled with meaning and success.
Feel free to subscribe, share the audio, and hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Thanks for listening.